Hi, welcome to Margaret Being Margaret. Today is a day of, I'm just lounging. I have a lot of days where I just lounge. I have little things I want to do today, and of course, stories. It is 12:30 in the afternoon on a Sunday. I slept until 9. And it was one of the best restful sleeps I've had in I don't even know how many years, and there's a story behind that too. But this is so crazy. I bought one tomato the other day. I have a million of them almost ripe outside, but I wanted a BLT, and in my case, it's a BT because I don't bother with lettuce. I'm going to cook the bacon in the oven. I love doing it that way. I'm going to have to heat the oven to 400 degrees. That means I'm going to cook up the whole pound. I put it in plastic then. I've never frozen any because I eat it too soon, but I guess you could always do that. So let me get out my cookie pan, if I find one. All right, great big pan. I'm going to do parchment paper if I have enough. It just makes cleanup for us lazy people much easier if we can figure out how to do it. I don't understand this parchment thing. It doesn't have a cutter. I don't get it. This is going to go in the 400-degree oven for probably 15 to 18 minutes. I like my bacon crisp. I have things that I want to do today, and they're just a bunch of things that have gotten away from me. No, they're not. A bunch of things that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I'm lazy. One of them is getting out the sewing machine. I do not love, excuse the backside, I do not love to sew. However, I know how because my mother was a seamstress, and we all learned, what the heck? Well, that didn't work. A while back, when I was asking about finding good fitting bras, somebody, and I'm sorry that I don't remember who, told me about a couple of bras that they really liked, and I got them, and it's terrible. But thank you for trying. I'm going to get them and show you. These are bras, Olga bras. Wire free, easy does it, find your size. And they only come in small, medium, larges, whatever. I always have a problem because I should be wearing a medium for the band size. I should be wearing a God help us all size for the cup size. They stretch way too much. And when I put them on, here you go, here's the visual. All right. Look how much I can stretch them out just putting them on. When I first put them on, they're adequate. But you know how they say once you've got them on, here you go, enjoy. All right. That they should be snug. And I have to wear my bras snug. It can ride all the way up because it's too big. And it can ride, I mean, look. I can put 2 fists in there on how big it gets during the day. So anyway, what I'm going to do is take them in right here. In fact, ow! That was my finger. And here. So I'm going to take them in a good inch on both sides. I hate to throw them out, and I need this. I need this way up here. I have one on under my dress. They're so comfortable, but they're so saggy. So I'm going to see if I can save these. I'll sew one, and if it works, I'll sew them all. Here's the other thing, ladies. It makes me crazy. I want to go up to people, because we know me, when you're wearing either the wrong size bra or it's not right. So do me a favor for anal people like me. When you have a bra on halfway between your elbow and your shoulder, that's where your breasts are supposed to sit. See how nicely I did that? If they're down here, you look so dowdy. I see so many, and YouTubers, come on ladies, we're better than this, who are looking like, hike them up, honey. So get them up here. That's where they belong. Even with this bra that's too loose right now, all right, at least they're still here. I could swirl it around, but they're still here. So I'm going to sew these today. That was a long story for a really ridiculous reason, and I will let you know if it helps. you need your bands tight. The bands are supposed to be so tight that the straps don't do the work. And you may say it's not comfortable. It is if you get the right cup size. I don't notice that that it's super tight. I do notice when it's loose and I feel like loosey-goosey. So that's going to be one of my projects today. The other thing I wanted to show you while I'm over here, and somebody had mentioned, it didn't do justice when I showed you that I painted this. All right, this is the color that I painted it. Hopefully you can see that it's just a very, like a gunwall gray almost, but I'm debating whether to paint it another shade lighter so it blends into the wall even more. I hope I don't, because it's a pain in the neck. And this screw right here is, nothing's holding these top ones in. And it's horsehair plaster, so it's not like I can look for a stud. And I don't want to put any kind of anchor in it, because there's nothing there except horsehair. All that does is crumble. So every time I take it down, I risk doing some damage. But I think it looks so much better than the black, and I like the white, and I like that it's not just white. I left the brush strokes in it, and I did that on purpose, not just because I'm lazy. While I'm here, this is a candle that Michael gave me years ago, and I can't use candles because of my breathing, but I love it because it's just a hive with the little, so I keep it as decoration. These were my mother's. She had them on a little shelf that came from Germany. Her egg cups did too. And because I'm me, I've already labeled, like where they came from. Oma is German for grandmother, so that the kids know we use these as kids. So that if Michael and or Nikki have any interest in them for history, they'll know that, at least 70, maybe 80 years old now. Because I'm getting old. First of all, plugging in the sewing machine is always a good step. Now, plugging in the sewing machine and leaving the cord hanging on the floor is probably super dumb, because dollars to donuts, I'm going to fall on it. I know I'm going to, so let's get an extension out. Now, those of you who like to sew, ignore this completely, because this is not going to be good. Make sure I'm doing the inside. Yes. I don't trust me at all. I'm stepping on the chair. When I got married, my mother gave me the choice of what I wanted for a wedding gift, and they didn't have much money to spare, but she really said it should do whatever I wanted, but it was very obvious that she wanted me to get a sewing machine. She wasn't wrong. If that worked, I do have this all tacked down. I initially thought I'd cut this open and sew it to each side, but I may just zigzag it right here. I just went and tried them on, can you tell? It worked. That's going to work. When I was talking about where these ladies should be, the last thing I do when I get dressed is come over. You're gathering them up anyway, but get up, stand up, and do this. Please do it. Make me happy. I'm telling you, you look 10 years younger because you don't look dowdy. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Bacon just got put on for another 5 minutes. It's taking its own sweet time. This is how I end up liking them crisp. The others have a little bit too much of the fatty not cooked yet, so they're going to go back in for another probably 4. Okay, 1 done. And I like it. Now, because I'm me, boy, that's terrible. Hopefully that will be okay. But because I'm me, I'm not going to measure the next ones, because we all know that I now know what I'm doing. Oh, Margaret. Whether or not I were filming this, I would still be talking to myself. I talk to myself full time. I also have a black top that I've been needing to take in. I haven't worn it, and it's sleeveless, and I haven't worn sleeveless for at least 20 years. But this old lady thing here now of wanting to be comfortable is serving me well. And if I take that up enough, I think I can wear it. The funny thing is, this is TMI, I have so much breast tissue under my arms that I always say I have poor breasts. So I have to tuck it all in, and I have that big bulge if it falls back out. So I want the tops to be snug underarm. Hopefully some of the rest of you can tell me that you have the same problem. I've never known anyone who has as bad as I do. And funny, not funny story, my mother had a colonoscopy when she was 75. She's had them regularly because there are issues in the family that she wanted to keep on top of. They nicked her bowel, and she ended up perforated, and it was a very, very serious, horrible thing. And she was in the hospital for 5 months. And then she passed away. And it was solely because of what happened. Now, she was a 100% healthy 75-year-old who was healthy as a 50-year-old at least. And it was a fluke. We know that, but it killed her. So my brother, who you know I was very close to, took it very hard, of course, because he was the youngest. And I had made a decision to have this taken care of. Well, I had gone to the doctors, and you know the only way they could sign off on it, of course, is if it were medically necessary. But they said it was dangerous because it was all breast tissue and it was predisposed to cancer. So I made the decision that I would have it all removed. That was at the same, like within 2 weeks, 3 weeks of when my mother died. I did not want to do it. We know I'm petrified of doctors. We know I'm absolutely petrified of most things. And I had gone to a very respected doctor in Fall River. I told her how scared I was, you know, and that I was doing this because I knew I had to. You know, I'm petrified. We know I'm petrified. She agreed that she would have to give me some Valium that morning. And I know I wouldn't go to the hospital without it. It's just not going to happen. A day or two before the operation, I told my brother. And he went into a panic because we had just lost my mother and asked me not to do it. He just said, Margaret, I don't care what you do, staple them. But please, don't go through this. He didn't feel good about it. All right. Well, and I'm already trepidatious. So I wasn't sure if I should or not. Went to the hospital the day before for pre-op. You meet with 2 nurses and they're a team and asking me questions. And I said, no, I don't want to do this. Yes, I know medically I should. And I'm very, very trepidatious. And I have to have Valium. The doctor said she'd have it for me today. And they said there's no script written. I said I can't do it without it. And now I'm having a panic attack. And the 2 nurses looked at me and said, this doesn't look good. This looks like you have too many concerns, and that could mean the difference between a successful operation and not. And until you feel that this is a good move surgically, we would advise you to cancel it. Just because they knew it was going to go wrong, only because my mind was in the wrong place. And my brother had really, really made me think, yeah, what if something happens? I mean, I had thought about that anyway, but from the kid's perspective and his perspective, and I canceled the operation. I've never been sorry I did. I did not have it done. I never had anything done. Where are you? There you are. Come on. So to this day, I didn't staple it, Dawn, but they get tucked in, and it's a major inconvenience. It's uncomfortable, and I wish that I had the bravery to do it even at this late stage, but I know me. and I know my body, and it doesn't bode well for me to do that. Oh, seamstresses out there, pray for me. All right, let's see if that works. 50-50 shot. My money is on the sewing machine winning and not me. For all of you who haven't followed videos or me very long, you won't know that the medical profession and I don't get along very well. My body does not like anything invasive. It just doesn't. I was 21 when I had my tonsils out and ended up in intensive care. It's like, and I've said it before, my sister Bernie had her tonsils out at the same time, and she came down after me, and I'm in an oxygen tent when I get back in the room, and I remember her calling my mother to say, we're both done, I'm fine, but it looks like Margaret's going to die. And I really thought I was. It was bad. And then, you know, when I had my unexpected hysterectomy 5 years ago, my uterus fell out. By the time they finished, they had to do 275 stitches to put me back together again. So the idea of going voluntarily under the knife, my brother was right. The chances of the outcome being good were slim to none. You son of a gun, press the button. Done. I'll let you know how it goes. Can you see this? See how far down it goes? I can't have that. It's got to be on the way it gets me. If I did that, there's a good possibility I would wear it. I think there's a 20% chance I'll ever wear this out of the house, never mind anywhere else, just because of my flabby arms. I'm not at that point where I don't have pride left. I'd like to think I don't, but boy, you know those exercises I'm doing? Yeah, I'm still doing them. Do I see anything? I swear I do. I feel them and I say, oh, that's different. And then I look and I'm still flapping in the breeze. I think it's wishful thinking on my part. All right, while I finish this up, I'm going to go put on a piece of toast so I can have my lunch because I am super shaky. It's 1:45. I haven't eaten. I'm carrying this because it's got my microphone on it. This is the verdict. It's done. Now, there you go. It's a top. I've got a slip-on for my other one, but it comes quite low. I look like an elephant. Look at that flap. It worked. I mean, I can just about guarantee this will never see the light of day, and within a month, it'll be in the trash. Because I'm just not comfortable with how it looks, even with doing that. It doesn't need any more taken in. I just don't think I can. And don't give me a thumbs up if it looks as stupid as I think it does. Please be honest with me, because if I ever wore it out and people were talking about me behind my back, that little bit of pride I have left, wonder if it would look good if I put one of the new bras on with it. Okay. All right. Wow. Let me just say, holy mackerel, did I make this bra tight? I might be too tight even for me. This is with my minimizer bra on. So now it looks almost like I have nothing. See, this is still sticking out here. I can feel it. Does it look better with that bra, or is there no difference at all? You're my honest tribe. Okay, I'm done playing. I'll be back after I have lunch because the depression is setting in. Okay, story time is coming, but what I want you to do, please, is tell me if I'm the only one that has this problem. Tell me if the black top should just be trashed. My vote would be yes. And tell me if this thing should be painted lighter yet. Then you can tell me anything else you want. See you in a minute. Hey everybody, welcome back. It is early evening. I was editing the first part of the video and I got a text from Shirley, my sister, with the saltwater pool. that said her and her husband were in and would I like to come over. I dropped everything and just spent an hour or two in the pool. So if I look a little worse for the wear, too bad. But you know what happened? We're sitting there and it was getting towards dinner time, and I said, gee, what's for dinner? And I mentioned that I was craving ice cream. And then we went on to other subjects, and I mentioned again that I was craving ice cream. So I left, came home changed, ran up to Hannaford's. Guess what I got? Guess what I had for supper? Hot fudge sundae. It tasted so good. I texted Shirley to tell her that have a hot fudge sundae, it's what's for dinner. And then sat and thought about how I wanted to tell this story. I had told you that I was going to get together with my childhood friend, Deb. Debbie and I were in each other's pockets our whole childhood. We did everything together. And it was, our backyards connected. And since none of us were allowed out of our yards, we had each other. And it was wonderful. We were the same age, same grade. And we had a great time. And I said we had a falling out, 19 years old. It was dumb. It wasn't any big deal. But we just really stopped talking completely. And it wasn't even a conscious thing. It was done. And it was sad. And many times over the years I've thought about it, but it was never the right time for whatever reason. Recently I saw her at a sad event. We said we had to get together. And we got together yesterday. That's what I was talking about when I said last night I had the best night's sleep I've had in many, many years. I cannot stress enough the joy, the coming home, the calm. There's not enough words to tell you how great it was for the two of us to reconnect. We met each other at 11 o'clock in the morning. We stopped talking 4 hours later, only because I had to pee so bad that I had to come home. It was instantaneous. The person I trusted most in the world was there. And I was for her too. It was a two-way street. It was meant to be. Both of us knew it. We shared, let me put it for me, I shared things that I've shared with no one because I can trust her with my life. Isn't that weird when you just know that? I've said before that I'm content. Didn't think I could get any more content. Boy, am I so grateful that we've had the time and that we're going to be back in each other's lives. Neither one of us felt that it was a problem that we had been out of touch for these many years. Both of us felt there was probably a reason, because I feel, and Deb does too, things, what's meant to be is meant to be. It was interesting because we talked about our preconceived notions of how each other's lives had been. It was kind of like, because you know how easy it is for anyone, to see somebody else's life from the outside and make judgments of how it looks. I try very hard here not to do that. I don't ever want anybody to go, oh, but Margaret this, oh, but Margaret that. Like my life is better somehow. I know I do that when I look at other people's lives, and that always makes me sad. My life is no better, no worse. We all have our challenges, and Deb and I got to talk about our challenges, share them, which half the burden. Isn't that amazing? I just can't tell you what it meant. We talked about our childhoods. Debbie remembers more of it than I do. I blocked so much of it out, but even that was just comforting. If you have somebody to reach out to, do it. The minute we got together, I apologized for our falling out. And I said, I'm sorry. And she was kind of like, about what? And I said, I don't even know, but I assume that it was me, because normally it would be. But whatever it was a tiny miscommunication. And both of us walked away confused and just kind of let it go. which is why I say it was probably meant to be, and Debbie feels the same way. I now have somebody very precious to me back in my life. We both feel that there's a reason for it now. We were both comforted by that. And every day I feel more and more that things happen for a reason. And whatever the reason was for the time, if anything, we won't take each other for granted. Whenever I go anywhere, I get myself into such a panic. Get such anxiety that I normally take a migraine pill before I go, because I am going to have a migraine by the time I get there, and I try to forestall it. And I told Debbie I didn't take one yesterday because I didn't have that trepidation, which I really should have, because neither one of us knew how this reconnection was going to go, but I just wasn't concerned about it. And some of the fun things were being able to talk about things from each of our perspectives, me about her family, her about mine, the things we admired about each, the things that made us go, It was eye-opening to see how differently she saw my family and I saw hers. That as children, you couldn't quite process. So there was a lot. There was a lot, and it was so good. Very nice. Maybe that's what I just have to say. It was very nice. And it gave me peace, and it gave me joy, and it gave me a great night's sleep. So, yeah. One of my best friends, my first friend, and a true friend, isn't that weird? A true friend is back in my orbit. Couldn't be happier. I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea, enjoy this weather. It can't get any more perfect. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and please share. I'll see you next time, because I'm done talking.